Beautiful, glorious, rich rising. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I've got the original G here, Mum. You already know. And as promised, we're going to interview her because she's a wealth of knowledge and I'm really lucky to have her. So I just want to share her with you. And we're going to start with just some of my questions, stuff that my mum's told me while we've been doing our little bonding session, the hair thing. And first of all, Mum, I want you to explain to them what is Ubuntu. What is Ubuntu and why do we need it in these times?
It's a long question.
It's okay.
But anyway, Ubuntu is you are because I am. It means we are intertwined. You know, you deal with me like you're dealing with yourself. So I'm not some kind of entity out there. You're dealing with me like you would deal with yourself, and you wouldn't deal with yourself harshly. You would choose your words. You wouldn't insult yourself. So Ubuntu is getting on with other people, getting on with everybody, really, getting on and taking care of the environment as well. There's some things that are around you. No man is an island. That's what means. That's exactly what Ubuntu means. No man is an island. So you are because of other people.
Right.
You need to be cognizant of other people around you, and care about how they feel and care about how you make them feel.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what would you say are the differences between Ubuntu in the West and Ubuntu in Africa?
In Africa, first of all, in Africa, we believe in extended families. And in the West, it's nuclear families. It's just me and my kids, and that's it. Those who are outside of that nuclear family are outside. And if they're in, it's very superficial. Whereas in Africa, we believe in the extended family. We always helping each other out. And even if they don't need to help me, they need to make me feel that wherever they are, they know I'm there and they're always checking up on me.
Okay, yeah. So there's like a constant
engagement.
Care.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas and here in the West, it's more out of mind, out of sight.
Absolutely. And even if it's not out of mind, out of sight, it's the relationships are kind of
superficial.
Absolutely, they're superficial. That's the word I was looking for. They're superficial. You only have to do something something wrong by them, and you're cut off.
Wow.
Whereas back home, we would engage some of the family members to find out what the real issues are, and they are resolved that way.
When you say engage some of the family members, who would they be?
It would be an aunt. Listen, auntie, I have issues with so and so, and and I don't know how to resolve this. And then an aunt would get you together and talk about the stuff, or talk to us separately. And then we find out sometimes that the issues were not that important anyway. They were superficial.
Why is it an aunt, Mama, and not an uncle?
You know, in our particular family, it's usually aunts, because uncles are usually drunk half the time, and so we just we just avoid talking to them because we don't know whether they're sober or not. So just in our family.
That's just in the Dhlamini clan.
In the Dhlamini clan, yeah.
Okay, so that's not generalized across.
No, it's not generalized.
Okay,
across,
okay,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So you're-
Most of my people, most of the guys in the Dhlamini clan drink,
Okay,
and they drink too much.
okay.
Yeah.
So, would there ever be a time where the patriarch would be asked to deal with any type of family matters?
In our particular family, really, family matters are dealt with by the man of the family. Usually, when they're talking important stuff, they don't want women there.
And why is that?
It's the culture. It's the Xhosa culture that women you know,
Seen and not heard?
Seen and not heard.
Really? Is
Yes.
that still in 2023?
That's the Xhosa culture. That's the Xhosa culture.
So how did you, as a young Xhosa woman, navigate yourself into who you are now with the voice and the type of...
I think what happened to me was that I then became a provider for the family.
Okay.
And so they had to reel me in wherever there was anything that would need finances. They would ask me to be part of whatever what was being discussed.
Right.
For example, when my father died, nobody had any money to bury him, only me. So they had to reel me in whatever they were deciding, because I would have to settle the bills.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to go back to relationships and the superficiality of relationships in the West with that of the African culture. And I want to talk to you about your relationship with women, because in my generation, we seem to have really deep trust issues with each other. I'm not sure if it's trust. I'm not sure if it's jealousy or envy. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is with my generation and maybe even the generation after me, but our relationship with each other as feminines is not as solid as it could be. What advice could you give my generation in terms of building relationships with our fellow sisters?
I think the most important problem with relationships is jealousy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's jealousy. People think they just assume things. They think they think you're better.
Okay.
Or they just assume you are better, even when you're not. Right. And jealousy is a cause of all of that.
So how have you navigated yourself around not dealing with that type of issues? Because growing up, I had a myriad of aunties. Everybody obviously in our culture is auntie something, and there was many of them. There wasn't a lack of feminine energy as I was growing up, and you have managed to maintain these relationships with these women, whether they are blood relatives or not. How did you do that?
I'm not jealousy. I'm not jealous of anything, because I grew up thinking that my father used to say, our fingers are not the same, and yet they have the same importance in your life. Even the little finger has its place in your life. So that's how I think. And I've had friends with money and I didn't. I've had friends with all kinds of things. I still have friends who are much richer than me, but I have no business thinking whatever they have should have been mine.
Right.
I don't think that way. And also, we respect each other's private relationships.
Right.
I mean, the chances that I would date my best friend's man is pretty nil. So even if we're left in the house, the two of us, my best friend's man and me, she knows I wouldn't do anything with him.
Right.
So that maybe our trust is based in that way, because my best friend's man is like a brother to me.
Okay.
I don't have those kind of feelings that maybe I could or would not. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Right.
You know, so my friends trust me. They know I wouldn't do anything array with their men.
Okay.
I am that way inclined.
And also, you are a bit of a jet setter. You're a bit of a globetrotter, and you've travelled a lot of this world in your years, and you tend to do that with other women.
Yeah.
What keeps you guys from getting at each other when things get intense? You know, if there's stress.
It is a lot of tolerance and love. Because we are sometimes we're so different. We're different even when we get into shops.
Right.
You know, shopping. You know, some people will waste your time, will be in the shop picking this up and putting it down and never buy anything, and that kind of. And you just be patient. You just need a lot of patience and tolerance.
And love.
And love. And love.
That's so beautiful. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Sisters.
And love. I mean, you know, my Clara is like that. Chipo is like that. She never she never makes up her mind about anything. So you just love her. You just wait until she's decided she's buying or she's not buying, and you move on.
Okay.
That's the way we operate.
Okay. All right. So, okay, that's the relationship with women. I'm gonna ask you, Mummy. I'm going to ask you, because you have had a very deep spiritual connection with somebody, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
And I would like you to tell us, as younger women, what were the 3 most important elements that you had to adopt in order to maintain this 30, 40-year relationship that you had with your love?
Again, is tolerance.
Girl, I hate that word.
A lot of tolerance.
I hate that word though.
And forgiving.
One of the collective has asked that question, so we might as well tap in and see what that question is, because I did see a question about forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiveness it plays a major part, because the relationship didn't survive because there were no bad things that were happening, but it was tolerance and forgiveness and love.
Okay, so Seppi is asking, what is your best advice on forgiveness and forgiving others?
Forgiveness is key if you're gonna stay healthy and happy, because sometimes if you don't forgive, the other person doesn't even know that you have issues with them. And
so do you always, sorry Mummy to cut you, but do you always express your grievances when you've got grievances with people? Or are you able to just forgive them anyway?
I do express them, but there's some things that don't need expressing.
Right. Such
sometimes
as?
such as somebody, if for instance, somebody made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to say to that person, you know, whatever you did has made me cry and stuff. If they are remorseful about whatever they would have done that made me cry, I'll just forgive them.
But what if they're not?
If they're not, and you're not willing to forget, you shouldn't be with that person.
Okay.
You shouldn't be with that person. The person you need to be around is somebody you can forgive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. I love that. I love this a lot. Now, let's see if we've got any other questions for you. We have our little South African little baby boy, Luvu. He says, what is the hardest truth you had to accept being a mother and raising a child? They came for you, Mama. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. He says, what is the hardest truth you had to accept being a mother and raising a child? What is the hardest truth you have had to accept being a mother and raising a child?
I suppose the fact that, you know, you're not going to get any help from anyone. This is it. It's up to you to raise this child, and stop expecting that you're going to get some help from somewhere, coming from anywhere, because usually that leads to a lot of disappointments.
Right.
So you decide, if help comes, that would be welcome. If it doesn't, I'm going to do this anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And if your mindset is like that, then you'll not be disappointed if the other person doesn't own up to what they need to do.
So you're talking about the other parent?
The other parent.